myth that we keep getting out here is, regardless of what happens at Cherry Point, we're still going to get the trains. And sometimes they say trains, and sometimes they'll say the same amount of trains that you would get if you built that facility. And if they say the same amount of trains that you get if you built that facility, there are two things you need to look at. One is port capacity in British Columbia, both current and future, and then the other issue is route. Right now, there are two major coal ports in British Columbia. One at Roberts Point, Slauson. And you've been there on the ferry. They ship around 29 million metric tons out of there at this point. We think, and we've gone up there and talked to them. In fact, Paul was up there a month and a half ago. Yeah. And they can probably add 4 million metric tons to that capacity. The other is a place called Ridley Terminal, which is at Prince Rupert, quite a bit farther north. They're at 12 million metric tons at this point. There's a proposal for them to double the size of that facility at some point in the future. This is a Crown-owned facility. Slauson is privately owned, and they keep running into problems with the expansion because basically they have to get an appropriation to allow them to go into debt to finance this expansion. And the other fly in the ointment there is the Canadian coal companies are going, what the heck, you know? This is a Crown-owned facility. Why are you building this to give U.S. coal companies capacity to ship competing coal to China that competes with British Columbia coal? So that's the capacity issue. The route issue at this point is that there are some test trains that are going through and right here that are going up to Prince Rupert, but it's the silliest route I think we've ever seen. I saw a paper the other day where they were calling it the longest coal train route in the world because they bring the trains in. You can see the route in the Powder River Basin over here, and they go up, come in Spokane, go south through Pasco, and then over to Vancouver, then up, and then go, once they get across the border, up, way up into Canada. I think it's 2,700 miles, which is, not really an efficient way of doing this. Another thing that we've heard out there is that, we get this, you darn environmentalists, heard this once or twice, you were almost okay with the 1992 project, and now you're raising objections. We almost had your approval there. Well, that's kind of true, but, one of the reasons that the permit revision that was recently put forward failed is because of this equation here. The project went from 8 million metric tons to 54 million metric tons, a little bit bigger. And they went from destroying or altering 5.8 acres of wetlands to destroying or altering 162 acres of wetlands, and the cargoes went from potash and wheat to 88% coal. So major changes in this. I think a lot of what influences is the fact that in 2007, Goldman Sachs bought nearly half of SSA Marine, and I think that influenced their appetite and ambition. Another thing that you'll hear a little bit is this whole issue about this train traffic is not going to be bad because it's within historic levels. Well, I don't think so. In 2002, there was a study conducted by the Washington Council of Governments where they were trying to figure out a way to get semis off I-5, and their proposal was to take those containers, stick them, double stack them on trains, and ship them north. So they kind of went through and did this study. So in 2002, the estimates were that we were shipping, and this is both northbound and southbound traffic combined, 6 0.03 metric tons, a million metric tons of cargo a year. And they estimated in 2012 that we would be, close to 10 million metric tons. I think at this point, with the current shipments that are going north to Roberts Bank, at this point, we're probably somewhere around 12. We can't get clarification of that from Burlington Northern. They're not always very forthcoming with information. If Cherry Point goes the way they're saying it will, we go up to 34 million metric tons by 2015. That's probably been knocked off their track a little bit because the EIS process is taking longer than they anticipated. But by 2026, we're looking at, I said 63, 64. I'm thinking it's more like 66 at this point as we start adding all that stuff together. I'm not sure how they can say that 66 million metric tons of cargo is the same as 6. And, maybe they're trying to make the argument that the number of trains are the same, but that's not what really impacts people. What really impacts people are the weight of the trains, the length of the trains, all those sorts of things, because those are the things that really influence how much, in the way of diesel particulars are put out there, how much shaking of the ground, things that impact people's lives. The jobs issue. I think everybody who looks at this issue is concerned about jobs. I mean, people cannot look at what's happening in America at this point, looking at things like 10% unemployment rates in Skagit County, where we're a little bit lower in Washington County, and not understand that we need to do something about the economy. We need to put people back to work. We need to take extraordinary measures. The problem is, when you look at this project, our guesses at this point with all the impacts is we're going to have a net job loss out of this project, not a net job gain. I mean, when you look at a more global picture here and look at what happens when you send raw materials to a competing economy, our guess at this point is this enables around 10,000 jobs in manufacturing that displace U.S. jobs a year at this point. So, I mean, this is a little flippant, probably a little bit more flippant than I intend here, but, the short answer is too few jobs. So it's 89 in 2015 and 213 in 2026. Too few, too late, and not us. Because if the promise is made to Whatcom County and Skagit County and Snohomish County and King County, 213 jobs, is really not going to do much for the unemployment rates in any of those places. Then we start looking at the players that are involved here. It's sort of like, on some level you go, okay, I'm hearing what people are saying, and we're concerned about this, and people are making promises and everything. How good are these people at making promises or keeping promises? Well, you look at performance. One of the things you look at is you go out to Montana, and they've made promises about reclaiming lands, repairing the damage that they've done out there. Paul just made a trip out there and took pictures of some of the incredibly large holes that are being made here. They've only completed 4% of what they promised to do at this juncture. There was a study that was done recently, and they looked at coal energy companies coming into towns and making promises about job delivery and everything. It turns out that on average, they give you about 50% of what they say they're going to do. And SSA, if you understand the trajectory of this project, they filed a permit in '92. There was a lawsuit associated with that. There was a negotiated settlement that happened in sort of in the 97 to 99 period there. Since that time period, they were given a list of things that they needed to do to move this project forward. They've done